Sjöö Sandström is the name of the #1 Swedish watch brand in my opinion. This is a brand that has been around since 1986. And the name comes from the last names of the two founders of the brand. We are super happy to get the possibility to review and have our hands on and show you guys what they have just released now. Because inside this box I think we have what should be or probably is their flagship model. This watch was released originally 2011 and has been reissued 2022, and now we have their Landsort D5 Bronze. Yeah, they reissued this watch 2022 with the Landsort 459, which is waterproof until 459 meters, which is part of the story that I will get into in a couple of seconds. But before we get on to the story about this watch, I want to share with you my first impression of having this watch in my hands. It really feels like a real diver. It is a quite heavy piece with the bronze material and also the thickness. And the case diameter is said to be 42.5 mm. It doesn't feel as large as one might think. I think this is really wearable. I've been wearing it to both a shirt and other clothes, so I think this is surprisingly wearable, and I think that might be because of the lugs and how the strap actually hugs my wrist. But enough about that and the specifications and my impressions, and let's get on to the story about this watch. So Landsort, it's actually a lighthouse in the Stockholm archipelago, and just outside Landsort we have the deepest creek in the Baltic Sea, which is actually 459 meters deep, and that is the story why this watch is waterproof until 459 meters. So let's get back into the watch case, because here we have some fun stuff. Here we have an extra bezel. This is unique. I don't think I've ever gotten a watch together with an extra bezel. And here we actually have one, and I will show you a little bit later how you actually change this, because this is quite cool. It gives the watch a completely different look. This is a bezel that has a sapphire bezel instead of the full bronze. It is also bronzed covering it, but it is sapphire and also a lot of lume, and that you will see in the end of this video. And to change this bezel you need a tool, and that tool you get here, and that is actually just a normal screw mazel, and it is of course branded with the Sjöö Sandström logo. This feels really robust. It feels as good or almost better as my Bergen tools, so I'm excited to try this one out to change the bezel of the watch. And the manual for the watch is hidden here in the top layer of the box, and here you can see Landsort 459 meter and the Sjöö Sandström logo. It's a really straightforward manual. First we have the story of Landsort, and you can read a little bit about that. You have the specifications and also how to set the time and date, but you will just continue watching this video and you will know all this in a couple of seconds. We have some more service information and also a picture of the lighthouse, which is a cool place. You should definitely go visit if you're in Sweden. But let's go back and check out the watch again, because that's why you're here watching this video. Another fun detail is that you find the logo even here on the pillow that the watch is hugging, so that's nice. But the watch, yeah, as I said, it feels really much like a diver. I think it is probably the bronze material that makes it feel even more like a diver, because this is like a traditional material and you can really get the flashbacks to when you see those really old divers with this huge helmet, which were also made in bronze. The thickness of the watch is 13.95 millimeters, so it is a somewhat thicker watch, but it wears really nice anyways. And the crown is really well guarded with these crown guards, which I think is important when you have a proper and real dive watch. And I think the aesthetics is quite cool because the edges are sharp and robust, even though it's not a huge piece. But don't you worry, I will talk about the dial because that is also really nice. In the end of the video I have some macro shots so you can really see the texture. But that is something that catches my attention. As you who have seen a lot of my videos, you know I'm addicted to nice looking dials. And this diver of course also have that, even if it has a lot of other cool specifications. It's the time of the video where I'm gonna show you this watch on my 16.5 centimeter wrist, and you can really see how it's gonna wear nicely on my wrist. And here it is, and let's zoom in a little bit so you can really see how it fits. It is really comfortable, and that is because of the strap. I'm 100% sure of that. It wears quite nice. 42.5mm is a measure that I would have been a little bit scared for if I looked at it online. But on my wrist, I think it's the lack of lugs, or the integrated lugs, or whatever you want to call it, that makes this really wearable on the wrist. The black rubber strap comes with a bronze buckle, and the bronze buckle has parts that is polished and parts that is brush, and I think that gives a little bit of an exclusive feeling, because the brushed parts is really practical, but the polished one makes it a little bit more shiny and gives a more of an exclusive feeling. The rubber strap has this Landsort marks with 459 meters, which is good if you forget how deep you can dive with this watch. And I think the watch strap is enough flexible. I think this is a reasonable strap for this watch. It can't be too thin because it's a heavy piece, but I don't like when they're too thick. So I think this is a nice balance of the rubber strap. So you can really carry the watch, but also give a nice, sleek feel to it. And on the back case you see this bronze dive helmet reference that I talked about before. This is cool because it gives a reason why you have this watch in full bronze and not just steel. It's a nice back case that reference to Landsort of course, but it's also not too cluttered with too much information. And the crown of course have the Sjöö Sandström logo. It's a nice crown that is quite easy to grab hold of, but it's also really covered by the crown guards, which is good when you really want to use this. And here you get a first feel of how the dial actually looks when you get super close to it. This is just a first feel because I have a couple of minutes later in this video a real close-up macro shot so you can really see the texture of the dial. Just hold on to that. Because now it's time to try to use the tool that we gotten together with the box and also change the bezel. Because I thought this was really fun to show you guys, because this is unique. I have never seen or tried this before. So let's see how this is done by someone who is not a watch educated person, just a true enthusiast and watch nerd. So first we unpack the bezel. The new bezel is a sapphire bezel, but it is partially bronze, but the insert here is actually sapphire and tons of lume under it. And the watch we have here is just a full bronze bezel. So when you look close, you have 4 screws here, 2 on each side, and these are the ones that holds the bezel together, and those are the ones we need to remove. So you take the bezel that you got together with the case and you just hold really steady here, because this is the name of the game. So you just put the screw here and twist it open until you lose the first screw. It wasn't actually that hard, I have to say. It's nice when you have these good tools. You should always have good tools when you work on beautiful and nice watches. I tried to help with my finger here to keep it a little bit more steady. But that's the first screw. So then just do the same for the other 3 screws, and then we will have the bezel almost removed. Because when you remove the 4th screw, you can just take up the watch, and this is exciting because it was quite easy. You just lift it off, and then you have a watch completely without a bezel. That looks crazy, and I want to show you the thickness of the glass because that was kind of cool to see. I guess you need the glass thick like that if you want it to be waterproof this deep. And here we have the bezels beside each other. We're gonna try the new bezel. They have very different aesthetics, so I think this is cool because it gives the watch a completely different appearance, and I will show you a comparison a little bit later. I don't know which one I prefer yet, but we'll see. Let us know in the comments below which one you think you prefer. But putting this bezel on is actually quite easy. You just place it on top of the case. There's no force or not hard push, it just falls really easy onto the bezel. You just then need to align it really well, so you see that the screw hole is aligned, and then I used a little tool to place the screw, and then just screwed in the first of the 4 screws. Because when the first is in, it's just easy to do the 3 other ones, and it goes quite quick. I think when I did this without the camera afterwards, it took me less than 5 minutes. And now we have a completely different watch. Setting the time you saw super quickly in the manual, but I will show you here as well. You just unscrew the crown, which is, as I said before, covered. And the first step when you put it out, here's where you can manually wind the watch. If you pull it all the way out, that's where you put and set the time. If I want to set the quick date, I just need to put the watch somewhere around 6. That's what I always do to cover the movement. And then you just spin the crown towards you, and here you can set the date quick and easy. That's just how you do it. It's a really standard procedure, but I like to show it anyways. And then you always have to put it 10 past 10 when you photograph a watch, because that makes the watch look like a smiley. And then always make sure that you screw in the crown when you're done setting the time, so you have the full waterproofness, because you don't want to miss out on this. This is crucial. And let's put this watch with this bezel, which feels like another watch, on my wrist to see how it actually looks and see if the presence is different. And for sure it's different, but I can't really decide which one I prefer. I thought I would like the sapphire most because I think that is a cool, but at the same time I really like the presence when it is a lot of bronze in the watch. So I think they both have their usage areas. For those of you who really wanted to see the dial, now we're here. We got some macro footage of the dial, and you can really see the texture of both the dial, but here you can also see the texture of the second hand if you look really close, and also the indexes. I love taking these photos on dials that are a little bit extra. Also, when you turn off the light, this lume charged super fast. I was out just a couple of seconds taking some photos, and then I had this awesome lume after that. So that's also something that is good when you have a proper diver. It should have great lume. With that said, I want to end this video with showing you how it looks out in daylight. And the bronze bezel looks like this. I think this is gonna age really cool. That's gonna be nice to see. But the sapphire bezel looks like this. In the end of the day, I think I like the sapphire bezel, but I'm really curious to see how the bronze bezel age. So thanks guys for watching. A huge thank for Sjöö Sandström for lending us this watch, and make sure to give a comment and let us know what you think about these cool Swedish bronze dive watches.